Welcome, welcome. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well this evening or morning or afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're in or when you may be watching this. If you're watching on replay, thank you so much. We love our replay crew. Welcome, members. Welcome, subscribers. Welcome, everybody. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for choosing to spend some time with us tonight. We're going to talk about some we usually do missing persons a lot. We have missing person Monday on Mondays. But tonight we also try to cover some unsolved cold case homicides. So we're going to be talking about some cold case homicides tonight. And all of them, I found the basic information on solvethecase.org. Most of you probably know about the site, have looked at it. It's a good place to find some information about some they do have missing persons and unsolved homicides. So, and then I tried to find, I think I was able to find a little bit of additional information from some news articles on most of these. So anyway, I hope everybody is staying cool in this heat. It's getting a little bit better, slowly starting to come down a little bit. I was out working today, and yesterday was horrible here, and I'm in Central Arkansas, and the humidity was about 106 degrees humidity. But anyway, and we've almost made it to the end of the week. Tomorrow is 4th of July here in the States. In case there's anybody watching, I know we have some out of people from different countries that watch. That's one reason I decided to do a live stream tonight instead of tomorrow night, because usually we would do game night, family game night on this Friday night, but since it's 4th of July, I don't know if we're going to do that or if the kids want to do fireworks or whatever. We're going to be doing something. But anyway, all right, let me see who all is here. Chris is here. Always good to see Chris. Thank you for being here, sir. Miss Doodlebug is here. Hello back, you beautiful human. We love Miss Doodlebug. Speaking of new people, this is a new name to me. Unnamed TC with Avery says, hey, new here. Welcome, Miss Avery. We are glad to have you here. Always love to see new people here. Thank you so much for joining us. There's Miss Barbara Hall, another one of my favorite human beings. Our favorite human beings. I hope she is doing well. Did you go to your festival, or is that this weekend, to hand out your stories for Tammy? I know you were talking about it on was it Monday's live stream? It is good to see Miss Barb. And there, of course, all the comments just jumped up here. There's Arctic. Hello, Arctic. How are you doing, buddy? I hope you're doing well in your part of Arkansas. Miss Paula is here, another one of our favorite human beings. And also, while I'm going through these, please do check out Miss Paula's channel, Arctic Fox True Crimes channel. Miss Barb has a channel for her son, Timmy D's, Timmy's Legacy. Doodlebug, please do check out Doodlebug. And most everybody here has wrenches, so y'all can, you can throw in links, absolutely. All wonderful people. And this is, for anybody new, this is a drama-free channel. No, what do they call it? Crama? No crama here. No drama. It's a safe space to have a respectful, nice adult conversations and share opinions respectfully to each other. So just keep that in mind. We don't have a lot of problems around here. Every once in a blue moon, we may have a little, but nothing that we can't deal with. Let's see if anybody else is sneaking on me. Thank you, Arctic and Doodle and Miss Doodle are getting in links. Yes, absolutely. Somebody can post Miss Avery's channel. Absolutely. There it is. We'll have to definitely check it out. Check it out. Absolutely. There's Miss Nan R. Hello. Haven't seen you in a little bit. Good to see you, Miss Nan. Hello, Justice Jane. Good to have you here, ma'am. She says she's number 5. Yes. Talking about the likes. Yes, please hit the like button. Anybody watching replay, please hit the like button. Leave a comment. Absolutely. Share it. Share. That's the most important thing we can all do is share anywhere and everywhere we can to social media platforms to help this bring more awareness to these missing persons, these unsolved cold cases. That is our main goal here. Well, True Crime Talk with Frank Meister is here. Hello, sir. Another excellent channel. Please do check out Frank. Honor to have you here, sir. Thank you for joining us. Justice Jane says, have you heard of the new purple alert in West Virginia? I have not. Is it a new thing they're doing, or is it there's a purple alert for somebody out right now? If it is, I can look it up right quick. Absolutely. Oh wow, Frank Meister said he used to live in Hot Springs. I did not know that. I love Hot Springs. I live probably, because I live in central Arkansas, a little bit east of Little Rock. But yeah, we used to go to Hot Springs all the time. We used to go to the horse races. We would go to Magic Springs, to concerts. I love Hot Springs. So I'm glad to know that, Frank. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Somebody can probably already done it. I can't talk tonight. Put in Frank Meister's channel. Absolutely. Miss Nan saying hi to everybody. Okay, so Jane says purple alerts will help locate missing individuals with cognitive impairments more efficiently, according to Governor Patrick Morrisey. A purple alert is activated by the West Virginia State Police. Excellent. We need more of these kinds of alerts. The Amber Alert, Arctic, big as we all are, he has a petition actually to reform and make the Amber Alert work better. And then of course we have silver alerts, and then all different kinds of alerts. But yes, you cannot, in my opinion, when it comes to missing persons, you cannot have too many different kinds of alerts to help find these individuals. Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Doodle. There is Frank's channel link. Thank you, Miss Avery says, love when I find a new channel. Fresh faces are so welcoming. Thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, this is drama-free, safe place to voice your opinions and have adult conversations. And, you know, we're all respectful of each other. So it is we have a good little community, not good, a great community here. Avery says, I must be delayed or a minute or so. Maybe, or it could be my farm signal. But for once, once again, I probably shouldn't say this. For once, everything, including the computer and everything, is working relatively well. So, maybe it'll straighten up for you. Thank you, sir. We are glad to have you here. Absolutely. Yep, Oaklawn Park, Lake Hamilton. Yes, I've stayed on Lake Hamilton before. Oh yes, it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh, Chris says that Miss Avery has written a true crime book. Excellent. We'll have to check it out. What is the name of it? There's Miss Taylor. Oh, there's Miss Taylor. Hello, Taylor. Please do check out Taylor. I hope you're doing well tonight, ma'am. All right, I think I'm caught up. I think I've got everybody welcomed in. So let me mark so I can find my place in the comments where I left off. So like I said, tonight we're going to be talking about some cold case homicides that I had from solvethecase.org, which I had I have a bunch of them saved up in my browser. I think I picked either 6 or 7 of them tonight to go over. So Miss Avery says the first one is called Evil, about Wade Wilson. Oh, is that the one that had all the tattoos and the, yeah. It published in March. Second is A Requiem for Evelyn Boswell. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Most definitely will check them out. Yes, we cannot forget about Mr. Steve. I'm assuming he's still out doing the good work, helping the families of missing persons or cold cases. Please do check out Mr. Steve. I think Mr. Steve is how a lot of us got to know each other, is in Mr. Steve's chats. Taylor says, Chris sent me over. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Chris. Yeah, Justice Jane says, Wade cringes me. I can't watch him. Yeah, if he's the one I'm thinking about, the one with all the tattoos on the face. Yeah. Not a good dude, to put it, mildly, obviously. All right, so let me mark again right there. All right, the first one we're going to talk about is Darlene Leavy. Oh, before, let me put that book on there. Before I start that, we actually had a 17-year-old homicide case from here in Arkansas that he has an arrest has been made. And I think I became aware of this case probably around 2020 or 21. One of our local news stations did a feature on it in one of their newscasts, and I've been trying to keep up with it since then. Danik Adams, some of you may, if you live around Arkansas or keep up with Arkansas cases, might have heard of this. But there has finally been an arrest after 17 years. There has finally been an arrest made for the homicide of Miss Danik, and she was a young girl, beautiful girl. She was she and one of her friends were coming out of a gym one night, and just they're fixing to get in the car, and just somebody came up. Just trigger warning. I know I have my banner, but for all these cases tonight, just trigger warning, because a lot of them are not going to be too graphic, but just just the nature of these kinds of cases. But anyway, she and her friend were coming out of the gym, and just somebody came up and and shot Danik, killed her, and then took off running. The friend called 911. Of course, police, everything, everybody came. Unfortunately, Danik did not survive. But just the other day, they announced an arrest. So I'm going to see, hold on 1 minute. Let me see if it will. Let me take this down for a minute. I apologize, guys. Let me see if it will. Let me share my screen. Since I don't have a slide for this, I'll just put the article up. Share screen. And there was several articles about it, but I found one in particular that has some statements from the family, from her mother. Let me, all right, can y'all see? Okay, it came up. Okay, so this is from KARK.com website, which is one of our local news affiliates. And it came out a couple of days ago. A mother reacts after arrest of suspect in daughter's death 16 years ago. And this is from Jacksonville, Arkansas. After nearly 17 years of unanswered questions, heartbreak, and hope, the family of Danik Adams is one step closer to justice. On Monday, the Jacksonville Police Department announced the arrest of Lavelle Demario Calvin in Memphis for the 2008 homicide of 18-year-old Danik Adams. She was fatally shot during a robbery while walking with a friend outside a gym on August 15, 2008. Police say the case went cold for years, but was never forgotten. Danik's mother, Amy Adams, said the arrest has stirred a flood of emotions. She said, "I've just always prayed that there would be an answer one day." Adams described the past 16 years as filled with sleepless nights and lingering pain. She said that while she is grateful for closure, the news is still difficult to process. I just can't imagine. Just can't imagine. She goes on to say, "I'm just so thankful and so happy, but at the same time, I just want to scream and cry. Now I have a name to put with that. That's different because there has always been a who and a why." So now we know, allegedly, the who. Still don't know the why because all the records are sealed as of right now. All the information. The name became known thanks in large part to Detective Cindy Harbour, the original investigator on the case. Even after retiring, Harbour rejoined the department as part of the auxiliary to continue pursuing the investigation she refused to let go. So that is a dedicated law enforcement detective. She retired and then she joined the auxiliary so she could keep working on the case. Jacksonville Police Chief Brett Hibbs accredited Harbour's commitment and the determination of the entire department for the breakthrough. Hibbs said, "It's enormous for us and those of us who have been here a long time, especially when this homicide happened." He emphasized the significance of closing a case that has weighed on the department and the community for so long. He said, "A case like this and bringing it to justice is a really big deal." Absolutely. Hibbs also said the outcome gives him hope for solving other cases, both past and future. He said, "I'm really proud of our department for working to bring answers to this family. It gives me hope that we can do more." The impact of the case reached far beyond the police department. Mayor Jeff Elmore said Danik's death left a lasting impression on the city, and many still remember the young woman with warmth and heartbreak. Elmore said, this has been very long in the making, just a couple of months short of 17 years. There were a lot of people emotionally involved in this who knew Danik." Elmore praised the investigators who never gave up, saying their resilience is a testament to the city's values. "It makes me very proud of our department and everyone who has had their fingers involved in this. They are not going to stop until justice is sought out and the right people are brought in." Although the case is now sealed and no additional details are being released at this time, the arrest marks a long-awaited moment of resolution for Danik's family. Amy Danic's mother, Amy, said her daughter was someone who left a mark on everyone that she met. She says Danic had a big heart. Everyone liked her. She never met any strangers. While the pain of her loss will never fully fade, Amy says that knowing who is responsible at least brings her a kind of peace and the sense that her prayers were finally answered. So, I always like to, when we have some good news, good outcomes, or at least some closure, beginnings of closure, I always like to bring those stories. So I was just so excited and grateful and thrilled when it was reported that they had made an arrest in Danic's case. All right. All right, I'll get caught up once again right quick, and then we will move on to our unsolved cases. Yeah, is that what that Wade Wilson was trying to look like, Deadpool? Yeah, he's just, yes, Mr. Steve is, we love Mr. Steve. He is fantastic. Absolutely, yes. Frank says, have you looked into the Jamie Valdez case out of Arkansas? Yes. We all have here around here, man. I have, Arctic has, Doodle, I'm sure a lot. I keep in touch with his sister, Miss Shawn. We have talked about him in live streams. We've done videos. Yes. And I think maybe there is some things that Miss Shawn has found out, but she can't say publicly, obviously. So I'm hoping they're kind of making a little bit of starting to make a little bit of headway in that case. But yes, absolutely. That is one of our cases. Absolutely. Let's see. Frank says, are you talking about Jamie's sister? Says had a video conference with his sister about a month ago with Marv. Excellent. Yep. Yep. Miss Avery says, I can't imagine waiting 16 years. I know. Like I said, I probably became aware of it in around 2020 or so when they did a local news station, like I said, did a feature story on it to bring some awareness to it. Yep. All right. So mark there. Let me stop sharing that. Bring this back up. Okay. So now we're going to get to our unsolved homicides. So first we have Darlene Leavy. Let me get her information. And this first bit of information comes from, once again, solvethecase.org. And I'm assuming that this was written because it gives a summary and some of the details by a member, maybe one of Miss Leavy's children, just by the way it's worded. But this is from July 12th, 2000 from Brownsville, Tennessee. The Haywood County Sheriff's Department is the jurisdictional department in this case. And the summary says, my mother was a victim of a homicide by her, and this is alleged, I have to say alleged, brutal boyfriend in the year of 2000. He was a very verbal and physical abusive man. He would threaten her by stating he's going to take her away from her kids, and he did exactly what he promised her. Yes, I grew up in an abusive home. Imagine going to school and not being able to focus in your studies because of your lack of attention span is all forced upon your helpless mother. And I'm telling you, I've read this a few times, and it just almost brings me to tears just reading I can just hear the pain in the voice. In July of 2000, my mother's life was taken by this delusional man, and justice was never served. My siblings and I need closure. We are the victims of injustice rights. Our mother's soul needs to rest in peace. The Brownsville, Tennessee Police Department has the evidence they need to procure, praying for justice for our lovely, beautiful mother, gone but not forgotten. So that is the information from solvethecase.org. And I was not able to find an article to go with this, but I found a post. I need a drink right quick. From it's on Facebook. So from Tennessee Missing and Unsolved, that gives a little bit more information. It says a woman trying to leave an abusive relationship was, they have it in quotes, mysteriously beaten and shot. Darlene Leavy was a 36-year-old mother. One look at her daughter's post will tell you that she was the kind of woman who would do anything for her kids. She was born in Stanton, Tennessee, and she was the baby girl of the family. Darlene ended up moving to Brownsville, Tennessee, where she had met and got into a relationship with a man named Ricky. I'm told that Ricky was definitely not the man Darlene had hoped he was. He was jealous, angry, and abusive. On more than one occasion, Darlene hid bruises with makeup. Her kids would often beg her to stay in the room with them until he, quote, calmed down. Despite her best attempts to protect them from the dysfunction, they still knew that something was going on. In the summer of 2000, Darlene had finally made the choice to leave him. And in DV situations, we know that that is the most dangerous time, is when a DV victim is trying to leave. So Darlene had finally made the choice to leave him, but she never got to break free during her earthly life. On the night she left this world, Darlene had sent one of her daughters to a relative's house for the night. Another daughter was at home in the bed asleep with the sounds of the radio blaring loudly throughout the trailer. Another daughter lay in bed fast asleep, unable to hear anything over the blaring of the radio inside the home. In the early hours of the morning of July 12th, 2000, Darlene was in another room suffering the last bit of hell that she would ever endure. I'm told that she was beaten and shot, then left lying on the floor, fighting for her life, while Ricky went to get some things, including the firearm, out of the home. When Ricky returned, he woke Darlene's daughters up and told her that Darlene had shot herself. And unfortunately, Darlene succumbed to her injuries. Today, Darlene's kids want to know why there was not justice for their mom. According to them, the police report says homicide, but the death certificate says accident. Why wasn't an autopsy ordered? So apparently they did not even do an autopsy. So you have the police report says homicide, the death certificate says accident, and there was no autopsy. According to one of Darlene's kids, neighbors and friends of Darlene's have spoken up and said that Ricky had said that he was going to take the life of Darlene. And Ricky has allegedly told people that he did not mean to kill her. I can't speak for what did or did not happen inside that home, but I can say that an autopsy should most definitely have been performed. And I can 100% understand the anger and frustration her kids feel about this case. So apparently in August of 2003, Ricky was charged with a DV assault, but those charges were later dismissed. It says, if you have any information, please speak up. Answers and peace are needed. And this came from, like I said, the Tennessee Missing and Unsolved Facebook page or group or whichever it is. So just, yeah, it sounds like this case, things were not, in just my opinion. I'm not a professional anything, but I try to use my thinking skills, what little I have. But yeah, even you know, like I said, the police report said homicide. Death certificate said accident. No autopsy performed. You had neighbors and friends that heard him say that he was going to take her life. He said he didn't mean to take her life. So, yeah, so needs to be something going on with this case. Anyway, let me get into your caught up with your comments here. Let's see. Miss Avery said this lady's face looks very familiar. Yeah, I think I've kind of read maybe an article about, if you're talking about Darlene, this case, read an article at some point about this, or maybe just from scrolling through the solvethecase.org. I probably read it. Yes, definitely. Yes, Miss Paula, definitely suspicious. Absolutely. Miss Avery, you talking about Darlene? She says, so they have her body, but no one charged. I don't know if you're talking about that, or if I missed something in chat. Yep. Yep, no one is charged. Now, they said Ricky, which was her husband, in 2003, and this was from, she was killed in 2000, was charged with some kind of domestic assault. I don't know who it was against. Maybe, I don't know, another girlfriend or something that didn't say. Yes, absolutely. Please hit the like button. Absolutely. Yeah, Arctic says these cold cases break my heart. I know. Me too. Me too. Avery says I must have seen this lady's face in a group on Facebook. Possible. Miss Avery said, I was thinking yesterday, listening to the Idaho updates about all the cold cases unsolved, not sure which would feel worse. True. Miss Barbara says she's seen this one. Yep. Chris said, this case upsets me. Absolutely. I know. I mean, I can just hear, the kids, just the kids. And doesn't matter if they're little kids, well, they're little kids when it happened. But they're grown now, but it doesn't matter how young or old, or, how old the kids are. You just breaks my heart. You just never get over. I mean, obviously, you just never get over something like this. Sorry, I got gnats flying around here. All right. So I'm caught up in comments. So let me see. I got too many. There we go. Okay. So I'll mark there. Stop my camera for a minute while I find. Next is Cindy Heller, and I think this is the one. I can't remember if this is the one, and I think the article I have, this is from Texas, and apparently back in around 84, 85, there were a bunch of cases that they think possibly could be maybe a serial offender might have been operating. I'll say if this is the one I'm thinking about. Let me get the article up for Cindy. So we may have to do a whole separate live stream at some point about all those cases. Okay, so this is Cindy Heller. And this happened in 1984, October 22nd, 1984 in Fort Worth, Texas. The summary, Cindy Heller, 23. She initially vanished after helping a stranger in Fort Worth on October 22nd, 1984. Her car was later found burned and bloodstained. And then nearly 3 months later, her body was discovered in a creek near the TCU college campus. She had been strangled. She was a fashion merchandising graduate with a promising future. And she was one of several young women tied to modeling who disappeared under suspiciously similar circumstances in the area. So on the night of October 22nd, 1984, Cindy left a jazz dance class and stopped to help a stranded motorist, Kazumi Gillespie, whose car had broken down at a traffic light in Southwest Fort Worth. The two spent nearly 2 hours at a nearby Bennigan's while Kazumi tried unsuccessfully to reach friends. And around 11:20 p.m., Cindy left to deliver a note to Kazumi's friends at a nearby apartment, and she never returned. Her car was found the next morning in an apartment complex parking lot. There was blood on the handle, and the interior was scorched. It had been set on fire. And then on January 5th of 1985, Cindy's decomposed body was discovered in a creek bed on the TCU campus. Once again, she had been strangled. She was a recent graduate of TCU, Texas Christian University, with a degree in fashion merchandising. Though she initially claimed no interest in modeling, she had planned to walk in a fashion show at the Dallas Apparel Mart just 4 days after her disappearance. 2 weeks before her death, she contacted a former sorority sister to help arrange an interview with the Dallas modeling agency. Cindy's case may be connected to a disturbing pattern of unsolved disappearances and homicides of young women in Southwest Fort Worth between 1983 and 1985. At least 5 of the women, including Cindy, had links to fashion, modeling, or shared social circles. Catherine Davis, Angela Ewert, Lisa Griffin, and Mary Teal also went missing or were found the victims of a homicide. Some of them knew one another. Lisa Griffin had been introduced to Cindy by her boyfriend, and she previously worked with Catherine Davis, at a local pizza restaurant that Cindy frequented. Despite intensive investigations involving the FBI, psychics, and a dedicated 40-member task force, no arrests have ever been made. Cindy's parents offered a $150,000 reward in 1985, and community groups raised the total pool to over $200,000, yet no credible leads ever emerged. So, not only do we have in this Cindy Heller, we have these other young ladies, Catherine Davis, Angela Ewert, Lisa Griffin, and Mary Teal, all had links to fashion modeling, social circles. Some of them knew each other. So it's possible, or let me know in chat, or if you're watching replay, leave a comment. Do you think it's possible that these could be, maybe not all of them, but at least some of them could be connected? Could there possibly have been a serial offender working in that area? I mean, I don't believe in coincidences. I know there are coincidences sometimes, but when you have that many, it makes you wonder. I'll just say that. Just something to think about. All right, so the article I have, and hopefully it doesn't throw me behind a paywall, is discussing the series of homicides, discussing how they could be related. Is from the New York Times, and it is from January of 1985. So the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office Thursday made what had become a chillingly commonplace announcement. For the 4th time since January 1st, the remains of a woman who had been found in the area. For the 4th time, the body belonged to one of 5 young Fort Worth women who had disappeared since September. The string of disappearances and deaths has had an unnerving effect on residents, particularly women. Some of the women now talk about carrying firearms and other weapons. On Wednesday, when the police sponsored a free seminar on self-defense, more than 3,000 people showed up. The vast majority of them women. Officer Ray Dunaway, who volunteered to help with the seminar, said the women in this town are really scared. I most definitely would have been too. The disappearances began September 29th when Catherine Davis, a 23-year-old office clerk, drove off to a convenience store in Southwest Fort Worth and never returned home. By January 9th, 4 other young women had disappeared, all within a 6-mile radius of each other in the southwestern part of the city. There was Cindy Heller, 23, a student who disappeared October 22nd. Angela Ewert, 21, a radio station programmer, on December 10th. Sarah Koshka, who was just 15 years old, who was a high school student, on December 31st. And Lisa Griffin, 20, who was an office clerk, on January 9th. And out of all those at that time, Angela Ewert was the only one that was still missing. It says 4 of the 5 are blonde and some bear a slight resemblance. Becky Stevenson, a 26-year-old dental technician who has lived in the area all of her life, said, I have to deliver things for my company and it really makes me nervous now to go out alone, even in the daylight. I don't even like to get into elevators alone and I'm always looking over my shoulder. Virginia Strong, 46, who works at an insurance company and has lived in Fort Worth since birth, said, I've lived alone with my 2 children for years and have never been nervous about it, but these homicides really concern me. The police department formed a 30-member investigative group, its largest ever, in an effort to solve the crimes. In addition to the slayings of those who disappeared, the group is investigating the slayings of 4 other women in Fort Worth and 7 essays. Doug Clark, a spokesman for the police department, said the police were not sure whether the women who disappeared had been killed by one individual or more than one. Detective Kurt Brandon, a member of the investigative group, said, I do not know at this time if there are any links at all between the homicides. All that we know is that the victims are all white females from the southwest section of Fort Worth. The task force is still seeking information to see if there are any other coincidences. Sorry, get rid of the ads out of the way. Those who believe in a one offender theory cite the fact that 2 of the 5 women knew each other and that 3 of the 5 were members of the same Baptist church. But proponents of the theory that the killings are the work of more than one person point out that the medical examiner so far has been able to establish a cause of death in 3 cases. 1 was stabbed, 1 GSW, and 1 strangled. All right, so, okay, I guess that was the end of it. So we had one stab, 1 GSW, 1 strangled, and at least 3 of them, which that could point to obviously different offenders. But if I'm not mistaken, I mean, there's some serial offenders that have been known to use different modes of, such as stabbing, strangling, things of that nature. So just like I said, let me know in chat or comments if you're replay what you guys think. I said, yeah, I might have to look into this more and see what else we can dig up. All right, let me get caught up in your comments again. Stop my camera for a minute. Let's see. Miss Avery says she has not heard of this case, Cindy Heller. I don't think I'd heard of it until I found it on the website. Miss Barb says, I'm confused. 3 months and they could tell that she was strangled. It could be, what is the name of that bone? The hyoid bone, maybe? Because a lot, not all the time, but most of the time, in the strangulation, the hyoid bone is broken. So maybe, that's the only way that I could think of. Oh, Avery agree. Avery said the same thing. Broken I have trouble saying that word. Hyoid bone. Yeah, I think that would be the only way that you could tell. Oh, Miss Barb. Yeah, Miss Barb said my talking about Timmy. Anybody who does not know about the Timmy D's case, please look it up. Just uh, Google Timmy D's or put Timmy D's in the YouTube search engine. And all of us have done numerous, and Miss Barb also, Doodle, Arctic, everybody has done live streams and videos about Timmy's case. Miss Barbara is still fighting for justice. She will keep fighting until she gets justice. But she said, my son's head wasn't even attached, and they're saying it's undetermined. Yeah, but we're dealing with, we're dealing with Madison County. Madison County. In my opinion, yes. And in most sane, rational thinking people's opinions, yes. Yes, most definitely. Paula wants to know, assuming you're talking about Cindy's case, any suspects? Not that they mentioned, not that, but like I said, I'm gonna research some more about all these cases, and maybe do a separate live stream at some point about all of these, Cindy and then the other ladies that were named. Yeah, Miss Avery said that's a ton of money for the 80s. Yeah, was it 100 and what else? 150,000. Yep. So apparently her family had money. Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. Feel free to put green stars, green hearts in the chat for Timmy. Green was his favorite color. Absolutely. We will all keep fighting for Timmy. Chris says DFW, Dallas Fort Worth, has been tied to multiple cases over the decades. Yep. Didn't they have, was it in Dallas? I may be thinking, I may be completely off. Oh, what was it called? The Boneyard or Bones something, where they found a whole bunch of remains buried in one place. It might not have been Texas. I may be thinking of a different case. I have so many cases, mental sticky notes in my head. I get confused. Yes, Timmy. Yep, most definitely. Yeah, Miss Paula says Cindy was, yes, she was a pretty lady. Absolutely. Okay, Miss Avery said it's Shannon Jones Middleton. I must have missed something, or I forgot what I asked you from earlier. When you get as old as me, my memory is not what it used to be. Hey, JP. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you here. I am doing well. I think I've recovered from my heat stroke. My heat stroke today from schlepping groceries in the. See, I think the actual temperature today was in the middle to upper 90s, and the heat index was like 105, I think, today, which has come down. Last week before last, it was up. Heat index was like 110 to 115, so it's coming down some. But it's good to have JP here. Please do check out JP and his music. He does excellent, excellent work. And I'm still trying to work on getting my video made, new intro video made using the song that JP made for Southern Gal True Crime that I appreciate very much. Yep, Doodle said, hey, there's the music, man. Absolutely. Yes, there is the link to JP's channel. Let's see, just make sure nobody else snuck in on me here. Yes, the Boneyard. Yeah, I can't remember if it was in Texas or where it was at. So if anybody knows, just stick it in chat, or it'll drive me crazy. The killing. Taylor said, "Is that case close to the killing fields?" Maybe that's the one I'm thinking about. The killing fields. That sounds familiar. That might be the one I'm thinking about. Oh, okay, she asked for your Facebook page, and that's mine. Okay, gotcha. JP says he's exhausted. I hate to hear that. Get some rest. Stay hydrated. Miss Avery says she needs a song for her channel. I'm telling you, JP can hook you up. Absolutely. JP says he'll be sleeping for the next week. Yeah, I think the Killing Fields, maybe. I bet, like I said, I can't remember if it's in Texas. Maybe that's what Miss Taylor said. Well, there is the Texas Killing Fields. Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. They found a whole lot of, I think, mostly skeletal remains buried in one place. I think it was maybe pretty close to like a major freeway or interstate. Oh, JP is getting all kinds of. Miss Taylor says she needs a song for her channel. He did one for was it Doodle or PJ? I think he did one for Miss PJ. No, bless your heart, ma'am. Bless your heart, Miss Barbara. Okay, Taylor says there is a movie about it. Okay, Chris says I'm talking about Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay, so I was in the wrong state, as usual. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. All right. Miss Avery says JP saw request and went to sleep. No, I'm telling you, I'm sure he would be, if he has the time, he would be more than happy to do a song. Okay. Drink right quick. Oh, he says he's turning in early, need rest. Yes. Get your rest, JP. Get your rest and stay hydrated. Okay. So next we have Fanny, Ruth, either Koch or Cook. I've heard it pronounced that spelling, Koch, pronounced different ways. So I should have already had her information up as usual. All right. So once again, this first information is from solvethecase.org, and this is from April 8th, 1992. Another one from Texas, from Killeen, Texas. On April 9th, 1992, Fanny Ruth Cook, a 66-year-old resident and small business owner in Killeen, Texas, was found the victim of a homicide inside her shop, which was called the Peddler Market, located at 605 North Gilmer Street. She was discovered, this is horrible, she was discovered by her son. Okay, so if I remember, if this is the one, just trigger warning. So she was discovered by her son after she failed to return home for a planned family visit. And that day also marked the birthday of her mother, whom she had intended to visit. So the totality of evidence points to a deliberate, possibly premeditated homicide involving someone close to the victim or familiar with her routine. So maybe this is not the one I'm thinking about. But anyway, trigger warning regardless. The staging of a robbery combined with personal motive indicators, apparently there's a will, property, prior DV, suggests the offense was not random, but rather a targeted act rooted in domestic or financial conflict. There were no signs of forced entry, indicating that she may have known her attacker. Fanny had previously been robbed multiple times and had ongoing domestic issues with her ex-husband, who inquired about her life insurance shortly after her death. So that red flag. Get your red flags out. Family members suspected that the ex-husband may have been involved. So that is the basic information. Let me see what I had on her. Just any case, whether it be missing persons, unsolved homicides, get to me when they involve children or the elderly. It just gets my heart. All right, so this is from the Killeen Daily Herald website. See if I can get rid of these ads popping up. And it is from April of 2021. And this happened in, what I say, 1992. So a fairly recent article. So family still searching for answers in 1992 Killeen homicide. Nearly 3 decades after their mother was found brutally killed in North Killeen, 3 brothers are on a mission to find answers in the unsolved homicide case. We want to know before we die who did it and why, said Danny Cook, one of the sons of Fanny Ruth Cook Cockrum, who was found deceased in the consignment store she owned at the corner of Gilmer Street and York Avenue in North Killeen on April 9th, 1992. To mark the 29th anniversary of her death, Cook placed 29 roses on her grave at the Killeen City Cemetery on Rancier Avenue. Cook said after he placed the roses, "It's sentimental for sure, a day that my mother was a victim of a homicide and a life-changing event, so the sentiments are strong to remember that day, but it is also tied in with my grandmother's 94th birthday that same day, so it's supposed to be a day of happiness for my grandmother's 94th birthday that was shattered by my mother's homicide." The brothers, Danny, Steve, and David, have been in communication over the years with the Killeen Police Department and city officials to not let the cold case be forgotten. Danny, who is 67 at the time, says it's been a cold case for a long time. Said Thursday as he was driving to Killeen from his home in Lubbock. He was in Killeen Thursday and Friday to not only mark the anniversary, but also confer with police and city officials about the 29-year-old unsolved case. Fanny, who was born and raised in the Killeen area, was hit over the head 5 or 6 times with a crock pot. I'm sure most of us know what a crock pot is, or a crock pot, a slow cooker. Those things are heavy. While she worked in her store, his brother Steve discovered her body still in the store later that evening. Fanny, a 1943 graduate of Killeen High, was 66 when she passed away on the same date as her mother's birthday. No arrests were ever made. Her funeral was closed casket due to the brutal damage caused to her head and face. Danny says that is how vicious the homicide was, adding he and other family members were not able to look at her body one final time to say goodbye. This is horrible. In recent years, the brothers have put advertisements in the paper bringing attention to the fact that no arrests were made, and repeatedly asked police and city officials for information on what they are doing to solve the case. It's been a long journey with the Killeen Police Department to move the case forward. But there was a break in the case around 2016 when police were able to use new technology and come up with a fingerprint match to the homicide suspect. It says police have told the brothers they have a suspect in the case, but they have not been able to locate the person. So I don't know if it's the ex-husband or somebody else. It says he may have at one time been in Louisiana, but now they are not sure where he is. One of the brothers says, "We think we know who the offender is," adding that police won't give the family the full name of the person. Cook said the meeting with the city manager and police went well. He said the city manager was there, and I think that changed the dynamics. There was really no pushback. Cook added that he is pleased with the progress and is convinced that police are doing what they can to find the offender. Those with information about the case should call Bell County Crime Stoppers at 254-526-8477. Just breaks my heart once again for these 3 brothers, especially with one of the brothers. One of her sons was actually the one that found her. It was just such a brutal. It's unbelievable. All right, let me. Okay, there's where I was at. Get caught up in comments right quick. Hey, Miss Avery says, I swear you say right quick like we do in Alabama. Yeah, maybe it's a southeastern thing. I don't know. Right quick. Let me do it right quick. So we're kind of neighbors. Let's see. That's a good question. Where is my friend Echo? He's probably working. Because I believe it is this weekend that he and Mrs. Echoes are going somewhere on some beach somewhere to celebrate their anniversary. So this weekend they'll be sitting on the beach somewhere having some drinky drinks. He's probably working tonight. He usually works. I think he works at the airport, MSP. I think he's off on Sundays and Mondays maybe. So he's probably working. Oh yeah, Miss Barbara says the fireworks are going crazy here tonight. Yeah, I haven't heard any. Of course, I live out in the country on the farm, so unless the neighbors down the road start shooting them off, we don't hear them. But I think some of our kiddos in the family want to shoot off some fireworks tomorrow night, so that's probably what we'll be doing. And depending on how bad the skeeters are, how hot it is, depends on if I'm going to be out there outside with them or watching from the window on the inside. Because the skeeters are getting bad around here. Yes, we always have to keep in mind fireworks do scare dogs, and also a lot of our veterans who have PTSD triggers, fireworks trigger, obviously. So we just have to be aware and of that. Chris says Killeen, Texas has an army base near there. Yep, I knew Miss Barb has a red flags. Yeah, that's Miss Avery says there's a man down the road, 84, Vietnam vet with PTSD. Yes, I'll have to go check on him off and on all weekend. Absolutely. Bless your heart. Yes. There's Cash. Hello, Cash. Oh, thank you so much. 1999. I'm not sure. I can't remember where Cash is from, but 1999. Going to bed. Keep doing what you do. Support to all kind souls in life. Be kind, people. Oh, geez, almost kicked myself out of the studio. Thank you so much, Cash. Him already be gone, but we will still put a cow in the pasture. Thank you so much, my friend. That is very, very kind of you. Very much appreciated. It goes right back into the channel. Mainly to help pay for StreamYard. Lord, StreamYard is outrageous. But anyway, I wouldn't be able to do this without it. I tried other things. I've tried that OBS Streamlabs. Couldn't figure it out for the life of me. So if anybody has any alternatives to StreamYard that's either free or cheaper, other than OBS Streamlabs, that dunce like me could operate and make work, be highly appreciated. But thank you, Cash, so much. Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, yeah. We have to take care of our veterans. They sacrificed for us, and just absolutely. Savory says he lives alone. Oh. Well, at least he's got you and to look out for him. Yeah, Taylor said, "Hey, Cash, where have you been?" Yeah, I haven't seen Cash around in a while. Miss Barbara says, "I don't understand why they don't do the investigation over." Me either, because it sounds like just from that article that maybe the ex-husband was a person of interest at very least, but then they said they got the fingerprint that they matched to a suspect, but they couldn't find the suspect, and apparently they didn't tell the brothers, the family, who the suspect was, if it was the ex-husband or somebody completely different. So I'm confused about that. I don't know. Oh, yeah, but yeah, I agree. Avery says, "I'm not from Alabama, but been here long enough to go ahead and claim it. As long as you don't start yelling 'Roll Tide' in here, because I'm a Razorback." Yeah, I'm kidding. I don't even know if you watch college football or not. Oh, I am ready for football to start though. Yeah, I haven't seen Mom, Mind the Monster Sunshine, alive lately. But I think she had some family stuff going on here a while back. She might be taking a break, enjoying the summer. Okay, you think Cash is from the UK. Okay, thank you. I couldn't remember exactly where they were from. Yes, Miss Doodle says it also, fireworks also scare autistic children. Please please, please pay close attention if you go out. Absolutely, absolutely. See, when we were kids, I love fireworks. I mean, and then living out in the country, we could fire them all we wanted to, because if you lived in city limits, there were restrictions, but out here we do whatever. Out in the country, you could do whatever. But I don't know. The older I get, they just scare me. They just scare me. So many things can go wrong if they're not handled properly, and sometimes even if they are handled properly. And wasn't there? I can't remember where it was yesterday, the day before. I saw it on the news. Fireworks plant exploded. I can't remember where it was. And the last I heard, I think there were 6 or 7 people that were missing. It's very scary. Very scary. There's my buddy Mustang. How are you doing? Good to see you. I was wondering if you were going to make it. Yep. Happy 4th to everybody. Just getting caught up. Just want to think I get caught up. Yes. Barbara says Miss Fanny has kind eyes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh no, we can't be friends, Miss Avery. She says, "Oh, I'm a Roll Tide for real." I'm kidding. We'll agree to disagree. Oh goodness. Gotta love the SEC, Southeastern Conference, SEC West. Although I think we're in the West, I think Alabama is in the East. Anyway, we don't. Thank goodness we don't. Arkansas doesn't have to play Alabama on a regular basis. Oh goodness! Now we got Taylor's Roll Tide. She says we're OU all the way, but I'm a Roll Tide as well. We got too many Roll Tides in here. I'm kidding. It's all fun and games. Yeah. Chris says, Avery, you, Dawn, and Taylor aren't going to get along during college football season. No, we'll just agree to disagree. It'll be all right. Let's see. I promise we'll get caught up, and then yes, Razorback since birth. Uh, Arctic says, I got lucky with my fur babies. They deal well with fireworks. Excellent. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. I'm glad that you're doing good. Once again, everything jumped on me again. Oh, goodness. Not the Cowboys. Oh, my goodness. I'm kidding. My middle brother, Echoes, is a Cowboys fan. He's a Cowboys fan, and then when he moved up to Minnesota, he's also a Vikings fan. But yeah, Echoes has been a Cowboys fan since we were kids. Our dad was a Cowboys fan. Oh, now Taylor's got the Boomer Sooner thing going. Now that's going to be going through my head. Oh, the Roll Tidies. Oh, goodness. Okay, we are caught up. We will get back to business. Let's see who we have next. Oh, take that down so I can see what I'm doing. Remember to turn my camera back on. All right, next we have Brandon Nicholas Widener. I think he's the only male, I believe, that we have tonight. Should have cleaned my glasses before I started. Okay, so Brandon, so this is from December 13th, 1992, from Chino Hills, California. So at about 7 p.m., Brandon was driving his white Chevy El Camino through the Kmart parking lot in Chino Hills. So Brandon was GSW'd by someone who was a passenger inside the vehicle. Brandon exited the El Camino. He ran several feet and then he collapsed. Unfortunately, he did pass away at the entrance to the Kmart. The suspect drove the vehicle away at a high rate of speed. The vehicle was found a few days later in a residential neighborhood in Chino Hills. So, unfortunately, Brandon's mother had passed away 6 months earlier from cancer. He would have turned 17 on Christmas Day. Anyone with information, please contact the Sheriff Homicide Detail at 909-387-3589 or we tip at 1-800-78-CRIME. So in this one, there's not a whole lot of information. I think the only I don't think it gave really any more information, except maybe somebody who could have been a witness. This is from the America's Most Wanted Fans website. It was posted in June of 2016. It says on December 13th, 1992, police say Brandon Widener spent his day cheering on the Los Angeles Rams before heading home to Chino, California, where he lived with his dad. San Bernardino, California, Ellie says that Brandon received a call from his dad while he was at home and told his father that he was going to get something to eat. Police say that Brandon drove his 1977 Chevy El Camino to nearby Chino Hills and pulled up to a strip mall, Kmart, at Chino Hills Parkway and Pipeline Avenue. Witnesses say they saw Brandon get pushed out of his car by a suspect who then moved into the driver's seat and drove away in Brandon's vehicle. Police say that Brandon had been GSW'd in the chest, and he managed to walk about 200 feet towards the store. They say he entered the breezeway of the Kmart where he collapsed and passed away at the scene. Police say Brandon's vehicle was found the following day, approximately 3 miles away from where he was killed. They say that the El Camino was still intact and nothing had been stolen from the car. Friends and family described Brandon as a good student. He was well liked. He was a sophomore. He liked sports, fishing, and surfing. He had just lost his mother once again to cancer just 6 months prior to his homicide, and his death left his 2 older sisters and father even more grief-stricken. So you can just imagine within the 6-month period, his father and 2 older sisters lost their mother and Brandon. Oh, let's see. There was something about, so it says, according to the San Bernardino DA and the San Bernardino County Cold Case website, sadly, this case is still unsolved. According to the DA's website, a man named Paul Kim may hold the key to solving Brandon's homicide. It says that Kim was involved in street racing back in the early 1990s when Brandon was killed. So apparently maybe they think he saw something, knows something, was told something. Says it according to the San Bernardino DA's website, anyone with information about Brian Kim or this case is encouraged to contact Deputy District Attorney John Thomas or Sheriff's Detective Ryan Ford at 909-387-3556. Callers wishing to remain anonymous may call We Tip at 1-800-78-CRIME. So yeah, I would think that now this, like I said, this article, when I say is from 2016, so a few years ago. Yeah, sounds like they need to find this Kim. What was his name? Paul Kim. Because I think he may possibly have some information. Let's see. Avery says, when I was in high school, I just knew I would be a Cowboys cheerleader, but then I met a cute boy. See now, oh, no, I do not want to update right now. See, I will watch the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I will not. I refuse to watch the Sooners. But now I'll watch Oklahoma State. I can watch them. Yes, very handsome young man. Absolutely. Avery said that orange is not in her color wheel. Yes, that one never gets old. Every time the Cowboys are mentioned, I know Arctic's gonna. There's a reason people take shelter at Cowboy Stadium. No chance of a touchdown there. So Miss Barbara's heard of Brandon's case. Yep, I think I'd heard of it too. Let's see. Thank you very much, Mustang. Absolutely. Yes, definitely prayers for Brandon and his family. Chris says, praying for all the ones that are covered on the live streams whose cases have been covered. Absolutely. Yep, we try to cover as many as we can. Unfortunately, there's so many between missing persons and these cold cases, homicides. There's just, we could be on here, all be on here 24/7, is unfortunately still not be able to cover all of them. We do the best we can as long as we can get some of them out there. At least we're trying. Miss Avery says, I can attest that in the 90s, street racing would get violent. We lived in California then and were shot at many times. Yeah, I've looked into that illegal street racing, most definitely. You are absolutely right. Mustang says, can't stand Sooner, but not a Razorback fan either. Sorry, Southern guy. No need to apologize. Everybody has their teams. Absolutely. Sports is meant to be fun. Meant to be entertainment, enjoyment, relaxing. Mustang says, was anyone surprised that Koberger pled out? which I think I might have been kind of surprised, but I have to admit I hadn't really been keeping up with what all has been going on. I know that the trial or was fixing to start or whatever, but yeah, I was surprised. I'm like, they must have done it to take, or maybe he did it to take the DP off the table. Maybe, I don't know. So, what do you guys think? Let me know in chat what you guys think. We could definitely talk about that also. Or if you're watching replay, leave a comment. Thank you guys for all the green hearts for Timmy. There's Junior. Junior is up late. Hello, sir. Good to see you. We love Junior. He is in Michigan. Well, I just have to look to see if Junior is in Michigan or Kentucky. He's in Michigan tonight. Hope you're doing well, sir. Tyler wants to know if I've heard of David Allen Crabtree. Sounds familiar. I can definitely look it up and take a look at it. Most definitely. Let me, do I have my, hold on 1 second. Let me grab my notebook if I can find it and a pen so I won't forget. Oh goodness, I'm gonna knock everything over. Come here. Oh, the pen is with it. Okay. 1 second. Let me find my page with all my names. David Allen Crabtree. What state? Which what? I can probably just put the name in and everything will come up. All right, I have it written down in my handy dandy notebook, ma'am. I like to call it my Blue's Clues notebook. Or my Encyclopedia Brown. Anybody of a certain age remembers Encyclopedia Brown? Miss Paula always with the Cheerios. Now I want some Cheerios. Are you talking about the David Crabtree? Oh no, you're talking. Okay, you're talking about Koberger. Tyler says, I think he did not want to die. And Miss Barb says he did it because they had so much evidence against me they couldn't get out of. I'm just praying that families can get some peace now. Yeah, and I think some of the families, from what I've been just what they said on the news, some of the families are okay with it, and maybe some aren't. I think Kaylee Gonsalvez's dad is not too happy about it, just from what I've heard. So Koberger's lawyer is the one that asked to do the plea deal. Okay, it's from Oklahoma, Crabtree. Okay, thank you. Miss Barb says her text talking isn't doing so well tonight. I got you. Yep. Arctic says, I mean, I would rather be have the DP than have life without any appeals and no chance of ever getting out. Yeah, I agree with you there. Oh, Crabtree been missing since 2000. I will definitely look into it, ma'am. Absolutely. Oh, Miss Barb has a handy dandy pink notebook. Excellent. There's Miss Farr chiming in. Oh, goodness gracious. Almost knocked the camera over. AKA my phone. Hello, Miss Farr. Good to see you all the way from Australia. And she says, and death row really isn't too bad from what I've heard. Yeah, I know it. It's not a debate about, for or against the DP, but most people that are given the DP, they just spend the rest of their lives in prison and eventually pass away, most likely from natural causes, and not actually have the DP carried out. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know. Ooh, honey nut. Mustang said honey nut Cheerios. Yes. Yep, I do too. Taylor says she has binders. I do too. They're all right over here. I try to keep them in a fairly orderly fashion, but it doesn't always work. Yeah, Miss Barb says they would have just had to go through appeal after appeal. Maybe they can get some rest and peace now that they weren't going to put him to death anyway for at least 30 years. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If that, he may have, you know, died, passed away of natural causes. All right. Let me mark there. I think we got a couple more to go. It's only an hour and a half. We're doing good. We're doing good. I got to remember this is a Thursday night, not a Friday night, and some people have to work tomorrow. So try not to stay on here too awful late. All right, this is Tammy Vincent. Now, this has got a lot to unpack with this one. So let me get her information. Get a drink before I start reading again. So this is from 1979, September 25th, from Tiburon, California. Another one from California. But she disappeared actually from Seattle. So Tammy Vincent disappeared from Seattle, Washington on September 10th, 1979. 2 weeks later, now this may be the one. Just once again, trigger alert, trigger warning. Okay. I lost my place. 2 weeks later, her body was found on a beach in Tiburon. Okay, so she disappeared from Seattle on September 10th, 1979. Her body was found on a beach in Tiburon, California on September 25th of 1979. She had been brutally attacked and the victim of a homicide. Her body was set on fire and badly burnt. She remained unidentified for nearly 30 years. In 2007, the remains were identified as belonging to Vincent after her mother and sister submitted DNA samples, which led to a match being found. And obviously, her homicide is unsolved. All right, so very, very much trigger warnings on this. So it involves SA, trafficking. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube without getting things of that nature. So just if anybody needs to step out, understandable. So Tammy originally lived with her parents on their farm in Okanogan County, Washington. Those who knew Tammy described her as a headstrong teen with a thirst for adventure. She often fought with her parents, ran away from home, as some teenagers, a lot of teenagers do, and would disappear for weeks at a time. She left her parents' house in the fall of 1978 before she ended up in a foster home in Spokane, Washington. Tammy then ended up in Seattle, Washington, where she found work as a prostitute. She was arrested in a raid on 2 SeaTac, Washington establishments that were suspected fronts for prostitution in August of 1979. In exchange for immunity, sorry, I lost my place again. In exchange for immunity, Tammy agreed to testify against several people who were arrested on suspicion of operating these establishments as fronts for human trafficking. As a result, Tammy was moved to Spokane to keep her safe and away from the suspects. However, an attorney of one of the suspects found her and divulged her location. She left shortly after this. Tammy was officially reported missing to the King County Sheriff's Office on August 29th, 1979. She was last seen in a motel on Aurora Avenue North on September 10th, 1979. Witnesses saw her getting into a silver Lincoln Continental driven by one of the men who employed her for the prostitution. She was never seen again after that. The next day, she was ordered to be held as a material witness to testify against her employers, but Tammy never showed up to court. Tammy's family last saw her during the summer of 1979 when she showed up to her house in a car with someone else that they did not know. She later called her family. She indicated her life was in danger and that she wanted to come home. This was the last time her family heard from her. For years, it was suspected Tammy had been a victim of the Green River offender. I'm sure most of us have heard of the Green River offender, a notorious serial offender who targeted prostitutes in the Seattle area. He was later identified as Gary Leon Ridgway in 2001 and was subsequently convicted of over 40 homicides. In 2003, Tammy's mother and sister gave detectives DNA samples to see if she was a match for any of Ridgway's unidentified victims, but no match was found. Additional details. Tammy was driven to San Francisco, California to prevent her from testifying in the criminal case against her employers. It's been noted that her employers had connections to the area. She is believed to have worked as a prostitute at the Palace Theater on Turk Street in San Francisco. The last person to see her alive was a clerk at a Woolworth store on Powell and Market Streets in San Francisco on the night of September 25th, 1979. She was in the company of a white male who was dressed in a white leisure suit. The clerk said that the man purchased an ice pick, acetone, and paint before he and Tammy departed the store. Tammy was then driven to a beach on Blackie's pasture in Tiburon, California. It is believed that she was attacked in the nearby parking lot before the offender stabbed her 43 times in the back and chest with the ice pick when she tried to escape. Tammy was then doused with acetone and paint before being set on fire by the attacker. Her face was burned beyond recognition, but she was, unfortunately, I hate to say it, still alive. She managed to get up and run 20 feet across the beach before collapsing. She was then GSW'd in the back of the head, which killed her instantly. Her offender then set her body on fire once again and fled the scene in a blue van. A witness reported seeing what they called a bonfire on the beach at around 3 a.m. following a blue van speeding away from the scene. Tammy's body was found by joggers on the morning of September 26th of 1979. The suspect left behind the ice pick, black paint can, 2 containers of acetone, and a cigarette lighter at the scene. Also left behind was the receipt from the Woolworths, which had the weapons listed. Despite extensive investigations into Tammy's homicide, her body was not identified for nearly 3 decades, nearly 30 years. In 2002, her body was exhumed so DNA samples could be taken. The ID came in February of 2007 when Tammy's DNA sample was uploaded into CODIS to be compared to all unidentified human remains found in the U.S. A match was found between Tammy and the unidentified homicide victim found in Tiburon. It says her remains were cremated on August 7th of 2007 and returned to her family in Seattle. So I told you, that's why I said major trigger warnings for this one. Horrible. All right, let me see if I was able to find think I have an article. Well, hopefully it won't throw me behind the paywall. So this is just an article from the Seattle Times. It's from September 2007, just about how they identified her. So detective work in 2 states identifies 1979 slain victim. Oh, come on. On September 26, 1979, a girl's body was found on a beach in Marin County, California. The girl had been stabbed 43 times with an ice pick, her body doused with acetone and set on fire, and she had been GSW'd in the head as she tried to escape. For more than 27 years, no one knew who she was. But early this year, in an improbable twist to the long cold case, 2 teams of investigators working independently in Washington and California were able to piece together the mystery. Her name was Tammy Vincent, of course. She was 17 when she was reported missing in Seattle in August of 1979. She had been subpoenaed to appear before an inquiry judge investigating a prostitution ring in the Seattle area, but she never appeared to testify. Excuse me. Marin County investigators now believe that I finally figured out what happened to her. The detectives say the answers, as well as possible future arrests, are rooted in Seattle's history of certain kinds of shops and in a prostitution ring that made headlines around the time of Tammy's death. The break that led to Tammy's identification came from a rare DNA match that hinged on a single hair from the victim and a saliva swab from a relative. For Marin County Detective Steve Nash, who's been working on the case for nearly 6 years, it was a long sought payoff. He says she was waiting to be found. Tammy was born in 1962 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Her family soon moved to Okanogan County in Washington, where she grew up as a farm girl with a taste for adventure. Sandy Vincent, now 43, remembers when older sister Tammy rigged up a speedometer on her Schwinn 3-speed and went barreling down a steep hill chasing ground squirrels. That sounds like something we would do when we were kids out here on the farm. Her sister says she told me she was going at 50 down that hill. But her teenage years brought turmoil and fights with her parents, and Tammy left home at 16, ending up in a foster home in Spokane and then working as a prostitute in Seattle. In August of 1979, King County Police raided a South 180th Street apartment they believed was a front for illegal, and found Tammy, then a 17-year-old runaway from the State Department of Social and Health Services. Tammy was put on a plane to Spokane 2 days after the raid and returned to DSHS there. But the following day, a caseworker called King County Police to report that she had run away. She was last seen in Seattle on September 10th, 1979 at a motel on Aurora Avenue North, was again getting into the Silver Lincoln Continental, owned by one of the suspects in the investigation. On September 11th, 1979, a King County judge signed a protective order that identified Tammy as a material witness and ordered her held to testify in the prostitution and racketeering case against 5 men accused of forcing women and girls into, and she never showed up. The trials resulted in a mix of verdicts. One operator was sentenced in March 1980 to 5 years in prison, and others received sentences of up to 8 years in prison. Tammy's family knew nothing about the investigations. The last time they saw her was in the summer of 1979, when she showed up at the family home in a car with another person. Sandy Vincent, her sister, says she was different. She said a couple of things, and I just walked away. She never even got out of the car. Sandy Vincent declined to explain exactly what was said. She heard from her sister one more time later that summer. Sandy says she called on the phone and said that she wanted to come home. She was very scared. She knew her life was in danger, and we never heard from her again. The family tried periodically to find her. They suspected she may have been, once again, one of the victims of the Green River killer, and began contacting King County's Green River Task Force. The task force did add Tammy to its investigation of missing women. Then in 2003, the family got a call from a King County deputy working with the task force asking if they could provide a DNA sample from a member of the family, something the task force began to do routinely. And that's when Sandy, the sister, provided the saliva swab. That swab was forwarded to a national DNA library just being developed at the University of North Texas at Fort Worth. The university's Center for Human Identification stores information and conducts tests to identify human remains for crime labs and in non-criminal cases. Unknown to King County police, detectives in Marin County, California, had reopened the 1979 homicide case in 2001, part of taking a fresh look at unsolved crimes. In reviewing old case files, detectives learned that a clerk at a San Francisco Woolworth store had vividly recalled a mysterious man in a white leisure suit coming to the store that summer with a girl about 5'6" tall, about 125 pounds, with light brown afro-style hair, which was a match to Tammy's description. The man bought, once again, acetone paint, the ice pick. Detectives also went back through long-stored evidence folders, which had been moved through 4 evidence rooms over the decades. It was a miracle. Thank goodness they managed to keep up with all the folders, all the evidence. And one single hair was found intact. That hair was sent in 2005 to the California Department of Justice and then to the Texas database in December of 2006. And in February of 2007, the results came back. The 2 law enforcement agencies, independent of each other, had sent samples to the Texas lab, hoping for a hit, and thankfully they did get one. The DNA from the hair matched the DNA sample provided by Tammy's family 4 years earlier. The California Department of Justice said it was the first time the state had matched remains found in California with a DNA sample from another state. That type of match was also what they call pretty rare in Washington, said Dr. Gary Shetler, a state patrol DNA technical leader. Marin County detectives called Tammy's family in eastern Washington and said they wanted to meet with them at their home. Sitting in their Moses Lake living room one evening earlier this year, Nash told the family that Tammy had been found. So on August 10th, Tammy's cremated remains were returned to Washington State. She was buried in a small ceremony that day in Ephrata that was attended by 7 friends and family members. Her mother, Glenda Vincent, who was 63 years old at the time, sat in a wheelchair, a respiratory disease requiring her to use an oxygen tank. Nash and his partner, Jim Hickey, handed the family a small container with Tammy's remains, and sobbing broke the sunny afternoon silence as the family embraced one another. And Glenda, the mother, said, "At least they found her." Now the family says they want one more piece in place. Sandy, the sister, says, "We want to see them caught. They have been living their lives to the fullest, and Tammy never got to live hers. We want justice." Absolutely. Nash said the investigation will continue. He and his partner have spent months since the identification interviewing possible witnesses and suspects in at least 4 western states and in the Seattle area. And now they're asking for the public's help. The answers could be anywhere. And Nash said it's got a lot of tentacles. Oh my gosh, not the tentacles. Tentacles. And it doesn't give. I was looking for a phone number, maybe. It did not give a phone number to call. So hopefully, I said this article was from a few years ago from, what did I say, 2007. That was the most recent one I could find on Tammy's case. So yeah, hopefully one of these days, sooner than later, the family will get some more justice. But at least they found, it's like Miss Barb would say, bittersweet. You know, they found Tammy. They got to lay her to rest. So now they just need to find the people responsible and give them what they deserve. All right. Let me get back down. Did I see people have snuck in on me? I could have swore I saw. Hold on. Let me get back. Let me get down to where I left off at, if I can remember it. If I okay, I remember to mark where I left off at. Okay, Mustang said true Southern gal except in Texas. Are you talking about Koberger? Miss Barb said maybe some jailhouse justice, just my opinion. Mustang says, what is the XP for? What XP are you talking about? As usual, I'm behind or confused. Yes. Mustang said, especially for people who commit crimes against children. Absolutely. The scum of the earth, in my opinion. In my opinion. Chris says, regarding the DP discussion, it depends on what country you're in. That is true. Oh, yeah, I agree. Artist says burned alive is the worst kind of death. Yep. Avery's back. Welcome back. Yeah, really old case. Yep. This may be the oldest one we had tonight. 1979. I was 8 years old. Oh, Junior's heading to bed. I probably missed him. Thank you, Junior, for being here, sir. He's one of the OGs, one of our original guys. I first came in contact with Junior in Mr. Steve's chats on True Crime Web. We appreciate Junior around here. Absolutely. We appreciate everyone around here. Are you talking about Tammy's case? Was it a homicide? Yes, most definitely. If you're talking about Tammy. Yes, absolutely. I just had so much trouble, and that's why I kept saying, major trigger warning on this one. And I think on one of the other ones coming up, another major, but this one, was really, really, really brutal. Absolutely. Just there's Klein. Hello, sir. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you here. Please do check out Missing Black People the Forgotten. And Mr. Klein does an excellent job over there. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, 17 years old. Just think everything that she went through. I mean, with the prostitution stuff and just breaks my heart. I think my eyes are getting even worse here. Yes, Miss Avery says this case is absolutely awful. Absolutely. Avery says, who would be investigating this case, Cali or Washington? That is a good question. Maybe both of them. Let me go back to because hold on, let me find it. Nope, that's not it. Dadgummit. I pushed the wrong button. Because on the solvethecase.org, it gives the jurisdiction in charge. According to solvethecase.org, the jurisdiction is the Marin County Sheriff's Office in California. But let me go back to the article. But I'm assuming that since she disappeared from Washington and they found her in California, I would just assume that maybe both of them were working certain aspects of it. And will be my guess. That's just my guess. I don't know. Because that's basically what this article was about, is that the two detectives work in two states to identify her. So I'm assuming that both states will be working on it. Now, there's just me assuming, and you know what they say about assuming. I'm trying to see if they mentioned anything at the last. Yeah, I would just assume that both are working in some aspect on it. Yes, absolutely. Klein does have a channel. Absolutely. Yep, there it is. Arthur got it. There's the link. Thank you, sir. I have an itty bitty channel too. Doesn't matter how big or small the channel is. As long as you're doing the right things for the right reasons, the right way. Doesn't matter if you have 1 subscriber or 1,000,000 subscribers. The right people, as long as you have the right people watching, that I'm trying to say this without people who watch true crime for the right reasons, to be made aware, no drama, you know. Doesn't matter how big or small your channel is, as long as the creator is doing everything the right way for the right reasons, and the community is there for the right reasons, then everything is a-okay, no matter how big or small you are. Thank you. Mustang said they just subbed. Thank you. There is Miss Avery's link. Oh, thank you, Mustang. It's $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. Guess what? We'll put another cow in the pasture. Thank you so much. It's very much appreciated. I said everything goes right back into the channel to pay for StreamYard, to pay for the one photo editor that I paid just the basic amount on to do my videos, edit my videos. So everything is absolutely appreciated. There is Miss Taylor's link. There's Miss Paula's link. You talking to me, Chris, or somebody else? If you're talking to me, thank you. Oh, you may have been talking to Avery. Yep, can't forget Miss Doodle, our Doodle. Okay, Miss Avery says Monday, me and Jason are reviewing. Oh, yeah, that's another. You can go down the rabbit hole with that. Madeline McCann, and then one other day I'll have a man on panel to tell his story about the homicide of his father. Excellent. We will definitely be there. If I can't be there live, I will definitely be on replay crew. Avery says his name is Nathan Carpenter, and I can't remember what day next week he's coming on. Excellent. Yes, I think, yeah. Avery says, I think this is the worst case so far tonight. Yeah. There's another one, if I'm remembering, another very brutal one. But yeah, this one, yeah, I think is the worst. I thought I saw there. I don't know if he's still here. I don't know how far am I behind. I'm not too far behind. Hello, Mr. Steve. Were your ears burning? We were talking about Mr. Steve earlier. So good to see you, sir. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're getting some rest. We know you're doing the good work. Boots on the ground. So good to see Mr. Steve. We miss Mr. Steve, but we understand totally that like I said, he's out doing the work, helping these families. Mr. Steve is the national treasure. Good to see Mr. Steve. Yep, everybody absolutely welcoming Mr. Steve. Yes, please do. If you haven't, if you don't know who Mr. Steve is, what are you doing with your life? Please do check him out. Absolutely. Mr. Steve is amazing. And check out the truecrimeweb.com, True Crime Web Foundation, nonprofit, is what allows him to go out free of charge, help these families free of charge. I might can find the, hold on. I know I have it saved in my browser. Let me go to the right tab. Oh, what did I do? Did I close it out? There it goes. And I can pop that link. There it is. I will pop the link to the True Crime Web Foundation, truecrimeweb.com. And somebody's probably already done it, but I will do it again in the chat. All right, it should be in the chat. It might take it a minute. I'm doing it on my computer. Sometimes it takes it a minute to come up. But yes, please do check it out. Yeah, over says the jurisdiction says Marin County, California, but that doesn't make sense. Yeah, because she went missing technically in Washington, and she was found in California. So I don't know. Yeah, Avery says it should be Washington. Yeah, it could be federal since it's across state lines. So she was transported across state lines for taken across state lines for like kidnapping or part of the ring, the business. Oh, Mr. Steve in his wisdom says in Georgia, in Georgia, location of body dictates what agency jurisdiction handles the investigation. Okay. So that's why, so she was found in California. So apparently that's why Marin County is listed as the jurisdiction. Thank you, Mr. Steve. Another reason, besides he's a wonderful human being, he's also former law enforcement, former CSI, very knowledgeable about these things. So he always has some wisdom to impart for any questions that we may have. So that's what I was thinking too. Maybe Mr. Steve says, wait a minute, this case should be federal. It crossed state lines. Yeah. Yep. Yes, we miss Mr. Steve, but once again, we understand he is doing the good work. It's okay, Taylor. Baby channels are, like I said, it doesn't matter if you have 1 subscriber or 1 million subscribers. If everybody's doing the right thing for the right reasons, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, Mr. Steve says if death can't be established in another location, then body location carries the day. Gotcha. Thank you, Mustang65 says thanks, Southern Gala Mods and chat. Good to see everyone got to go. Thank you so much, Mustang. Good to have you here, my friend. Always good to have you here. Taylor says, do I have you on Facebook? I don't know. I can put, hold on, let me, 1 minute, and I can put in, if I can't get it to come up, you can go to the about section of my page, and I think I have my Facebook link in there, but let me see. Oh, there's Facebook. Hold on, I'll see if I can find it. Sometimes Facebook, when I try to bring it up on my computer, runs very slow. Oh, I can't type. Oh my goodness. searching. Oh, there it is. There I am on there. Hold on. I'll put the link to my. Okay. Come back over here. Okay. As soon as it comes up, there is the link to my Facebook profile. Oh, sorry. I was taking a drink. What did I do? I'm losing everything. Losing my mind and everything else. So there's my link to anybody who wants to friend request me or follow me on Facebook. I'm thinking that we are friends on Facebook, but I'm not entirely sure. Mr. Steve says he should be caught up by August. Excellent. Yep. Be safe. Are you talking about Mr. Steve? Check out True Crime Web. I don't know if you're talking about Mr. Steve or not. Thank you. Avery says she just subbed to True Crime Web. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, there is the link to truecrimeweb.com. It's got all the links you need to the foundation, to everything you need. Yes, Mustang said, you are awesome, Mr. Steve. Yep, he has helped Miss Barb out tremendously. Right, yeah, there's the link to my Southern Guy True Crime. Did it put it in twice? Anyway, it put it in twice. All right. I'm caught up. Oh, no, maybe not. Thought I was caught up. Yes, I do also have Discord. I'm hardly ever on Discord. I guess I need to check it sometimes. I have enough trouble keeping up with this and Facebook, honestly. All right. So next, there's not a whole lot of information, I don't believe, on this one. This is Heidi Marie Cummings. Let me get her information. I think we have her and one more. Right, so this happened in 2007 in Fort Worth, Texas. So on December 18th, 2007, Heidi Cummings was found deceased in her home in the 3500 block of Cutter. The investigation revealed that she may have known her assailant and allowed him or her into the residence. She was last seen alive on December 18th of 2007 at around 7:30 a.m. when she made a lunch for her son. In the afternoon, her other son was concerned when he was unable to get a hold of her, so he went to the house. He placed a 911 call to authorities after finding his mother in a bedroom. So apparently she had GSW to the head, and she was found in the bedroom. So let me see if, and I think that is basically all the information that I was able to find on her. Yes. So the jurisdiction is the Fort Worth Police Department. Let me see if it gives a number. It's the only thing that I don't really. Okay, so if you have any information, you can call the Fort Worth Police Department at 817-392-4200. Or you can email police.chief@fortworthtexas.gov. So that's basically all the information we have on Heidi. Just horrible. Once again, another family member, a son, that had to find his mom. And then she had apparently the younger son. Or maybe it was the same one. I don't know if it was the same one. But at any rate, it's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Okay, so I think we have one more. So this one, I'm on, I believe, trigger warning again on this one, because this one, if I remember correctly, is pretty brutal also. So this is Amber Marie Berbiglia. And this is from 2013 from South Carolina. So it says Amber Berbiglia's case remains a haunting mystery 11 years after her brutal homicide on May 3rd, 2013. Okay, yeah, so major trigger warning. So Amber was found beaten to death near her car on Old Sanders Drive under the Robert Edge Parkway overpass in Little River, South Carolina. Amber's car was still running. Her purse and money was still in the vehicle. She had not been SA'd. The autopsy revealed that she had been struck twice in the head, a violent and puzzling end for a young woman who had a promising future ahead of her. Amber, a 23-year-old aspiring fashion designer, she was a victim of a homicide once again on May 3rd, 2013, Little River, South Carolina. She had recently returned from studying fashion design in London, was found deceased near her car, once again under this overpass. So it says initially, trigger warning, initially police believed that she had been GSW'd, but an autopsy later revealed that she had been beaten to death, suffering 2 fatal blows to the head. Her body was discovered by 2 teenage boys who were out mudbogging in their vehicles, with her car still running and her phone receiving messages just inches away. The investigation revealed that Amber had spent the hours before her homicide running errands, including paying her cable bill, stopping at a gas station, as she was captured on surveillance footage. Despite her seemingly random homicide in broad daylight, police have struggled to identify a suspect. One of the few leads included a mysterious figure seen in her car in surveillance footage, though the individual has never been identified. Amber's fiance was quickly ruled out as a suspect due to his airtight alibi. He was in Europe at the time, so I would say that was pretty airtight. Despite efforts by the Horry County Police Department, the investigation quickly hit a dead end. Amber's case was moved to the cold case file after just 3 months, which of course left her family devastated and frustrated by the lack of progress. Amber's family has worked tirelessly to keep her memory alive and to seek justice, erecting a memorial where she was found. To this day, Amber's homicide remains unsolved, and her family continues to hope for new information that might lead to answers. So yes, just another senseless and just brutal homicide. And I think I do have an article for her. Hopefully it won't throw me behind the paywall. So this is actually a recent article. It's from May of 2025 from the Sun or MyrtleBeachOnline.com, the Sun News. It says soon to be married Little River woman beat. No, I don't want to. Getting rid of the ads. Soon to be married Little River woman beaten to death. How did her offender go unnoticed? Michelle Robinson sits in a living room chair, one leg tucked under the other, with the sun streaming through the windows behind her. In her lap are photos of her daughter, Amber Berbiglia. The photos show the blonde-haired young woman smiling which is something she did often. Michelle, her mother, says Amber was the light. She would just light up the room. She was happy all the time. The Little River resident looks down at the pictures as she recalls the day an Horry County police officer knocked on the door to tell her that Berbiglia had been killed. That was on May 3rd, 2013, when the 23-year-old's body was found by mudboggers outside her vehicle on Old Sanders Drive near the Robert Edge Parkway overpass in North Myrtle Beach. I bet Duchess, check out Duchess too, by the way. She lives in that area. I bet she's heard of this. She's probably covered it before. She had been beaten to death with a large boulder. Police told Robinson that it looked like Amber had tried to run before she was killed. Because her body was still warm, her offender was believed to have left the scene just a short time before she was discovered, and police arrived on the scene, but the person was never found. Robinson said she could accept her daughter's death if it was an accident, but not the way that Amber died. She says she was so popular, she was so in love, I can't just see her being beaten. But as Robinson marks the 12th year of Berbiglia's death, no one has been charged in the crime, leaving the 65-year-old to continue her push to find her daughter's offender. She says it won't change it, but it will give me peace of mind of who did it and why is the biggest question. She's not the only family member who has that question. Berbiglia is one of at least 60 unsolved homicide cases in Horry County. Says, was the person interrupted in Amber's killing? It says it had rained earlier that May day, making the road muddy. The area looks different than it did all those years ago. At the time, the area was overgrown and only a few homes were located near the crime scene. It was teenagers riding ATVs along the dirt road who found Amber. They had passed by her vehicle, which was stuck in the mud, according to information gathered from police and reports by Gina Stevens, a family friend who has been working to keep Amber's case in the spotlight. When they rode back by, the vehicle was still there, so they pulled over to offer help. The car was still running, the driver's door was open, and nearby was a sandal and sunglasses. The teens then walked around the car and found Amber. She was lying face down outside her vehicle, and her cell phone was a few inches from her hand. When police arrived, Amber's body was still warm, indicating that her death had just happened. North Myrtle Beach police were first to arrive after receiving the 911 call about a woman's body being found. The case was later given to Horry County Police when it was determined the crime happened outside of city limits. On the dash cam footage from North Myrtle Beach, Amber's car can be seen on the roadway, her tires sitting in deep ruts in the road, white smoke coming from her running vehicle. An officer asked for dogs to be brought to the scene, adding, quote, "They just left here, whoever did this." Amber was beaten so badly, once again, that police first thought that that it was a GSW wound. Only later, after an autopsy was conducted, it was determined she had passed away from blunt force trauma. While Horry County Police won't confirm what was used as a weapon to strike Amber, Robinson said the offender picked up a giant boulder, hitting her daughter her mother said the killer picked up a giant boulder, hitting her daughter in the head, and her skull was fractured in 2 places. It doesn't appear that Amber was robbed. She was not SA'd. One of the teens did report seeing a man in the area, but that person was never found. Stevens, one of the officers, wondered, did these kids four-wheeling interrupt something? It really bothers me that somebody is out there walking the streets that can do this to someone else. So the fashion design major was a week away from graduating from Horry at Georgetown Technical College and 3 months from getting married. Amber was engaged to a Spanish man she had met while studying in London, and 2 weeks before her death, she had picked up her wedding dress. On the day that she passed away, Amber ran errands before her 4 p.m. shift at Greg Norman's Australian Grill in North Myrtle Beach, where she worked. She got her hair cut about 12:30 p.m., returned some clothing to a store, paid her cable bill, stopped at the gas station where she could be seen on video footage. She texted a friend at around 2:35 p.m. And at 3:15 p.m., it is believed that she returned to her Little River apartment, which was only about 5 minutes from where her body was found. So 5 minutes from where she lived is where she died. A neighbor told police that she heard Amber yell, quote, "What are you doing in here?" It is unclear who Amber may have been talking to. So it could be somebody she knew or somebody she didn't know, because if it's somebody you know or don't know, even if it's somebody you don't know, you're going to say, hey, what are you doing in here? Who are you? Or it could have been somebody she knew. What happened from the time the neighbor heard Amber yell until her body was discovered at 4:12 p.m. is unknown. Traffic camera footage on US 17 showed what appeared to be a dark figure in Amber's vehicle. Horry County Police Captain Gregory Lent, who is over the Criminal Investigation Division and has been working with the family on the case, said there is surveillance video of Amber traveling through North Myrtle Beach. He said, Captain Lent said, "I can't give any answer of whether there was or wasn't anyone in the car." Lent said that Amber's car was processed for evidence, including sending items to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division to use its MVAC system to collect DNA. It's that wet vac based forensic collection device that can pull difficult evidence from items that may be porous, rough, or large. And I think that's the same for anybody who we talked about. Was it Friday night? I know, whatever night it was, Friday night, they're testing the evidence in the West Memphis 3 case, and that's what they're using the MVAC to test that evidence, the shoelaces, the ligatures. But anyway, Lent would not confirm what items were processed or whether any fingerprints were found. He also would not say what leads police are pursuing or if they have any suspects. At this point, the case remains, quote, unresolved, he said. Robertson is frustrated with police, believing that evidence was not collected properly the day of Amber's, the day she passed away. She is also upset that it has been 12 years without what she says is any real progress in the case. Now, this is Amber's mother. To solve the case, police need community members who have information to come forward. If you saw something, say something. If you know something, say something. Lent says that is the biggest thing that will help any investigation that we have. Absolutely. Sorry, my eyes itching. There is at least somebody out there who particularly knows what happened to Amber, and I'll offer that person today, if they have the ability and means, to come forward and sit down and speak with us and explain what happened to her. By that, I mean the person who is responsible for her death. Like any family that has lost somebody suddenly and tragically due to violence, I think Amber's mother understands this. We will not give up. We will do everything we can to find the person responsible. The family has tried several ways to generate new information in the case. A reward was offered for information leading to Amber's offender. A billboard featuring her face was erected, and recently Amber's story was featured on national crime shows. None of it, unfortunately, has generated any clues as to who could have taken the young woman's life. In 2016, Stephen started the Facebook group Justice for Amber Berbiglia, which details information on the case in an effort to keep the case in the spotlight. And if it will let me, I think I can click on the link, and I'll put that link to the Facebook group in the chat. Stephen says Amber deserves justice. Absolutely. Amber's death has affected her mother greatly. After she was killed, her mom had a stroke. Robinson knows she's not the only one whose loved one's homicide has gone cold. Each year, she hosts a memorial on the anniversary of Amber's death to not only remember her daughter, but other people who have been victims of violent crimes. Robinson thinks about the day that Amber was killed almost every day. She also thinks about how her daughter could have been married or had kids. She says, I miss her so much. It will always be a shock until I get answers. So it just breaks my heart reading. All right, let me see if I can find, if it will let me, it'll take me to the page and let me put the link in. There it is. All right, give me 1 second and I will put it in chat. And I will also try to put all these links on my community tab also. All right, there is the link. There is a link to the Facebook group. All right, let me make sure that was all I had. And I think that was our last one. Yeah. Okay. Get back over here. Oh, goodness. Watch out, I'm pushing buttons. Why is it not? There we go. Okay. All right, let me get down into your comments. I probably forgot to. Okay. I think I went back too far. Yeah, Miss Barbara says she can't. Talking about Discord. I can't keep up with. Like I said, I have a hard enough time keeping up with doing this, making videos and doing live streams, and then keeping up with posting stuff on Facebook. And I do now have a TikTok that I haven't uploaded any videos, but I do share. Excuse me, I do share, of course, any of the missing persons and any true crime stuff that comes up on my feed or For You page or whatever it's called. I'll definitely share it. And then other than that, I share animal stuff, music stuff, funny stuff, you know. Oh, there's Echoes. His ears must have been burning. Hey, Bubba. I'm 20 minutes behind. Somebody, was it Miss Barbara? Miss Barbara was asking about you. I told her that was it this weekend you and Mrs. Echoes will be sitting on the beach somewhere with some drinks. Yes, she is very. Oh, let me go back to Amber. Yes, she is very pretty. Absolutely. Oh, Mr. Steve says the only thing I know about Discord is when I say Discord of my Google machine is a trip hazard. Oh, leave it to Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve's a funny guy. Yes, the second fashion designer tonight. Yep. If she was in Texas, we'd be adding her to the list of the Texas girls. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to do a live stream about the Texas. See if there's any kind of connection there. Once again, there is Mr. Steve. Yes, she is beautiful. Yes, she was engaged. Yep. I think it said 3 months. She was going to get married in about 3 months. Yep. Your friend Doodles here, Echoes. Okay, Mr. Steve with the wisdom, as always, says running car and found nearby indicates random violent encounter, unorganized offender using boulder. Excellent. Can always count on Mr. Steve. Miss Avery says, I wonder if her fiance had a mad ex. A possibility. Anything's a possibility. We'd asked Mr. Steve. Okay, so she was killed with a. I know statistically, some men kill in certain ways. I mean, not always. There's exceptions to the rule. Men kill in certain ways. Women kill in certain ways. Would a woman? But I guess if like Mr. Steve said, well, he said random violent encounter. So I wonder if, but she was killed under the overpass. So I'm wondering, because it said a neighbor they said that Amber went to her apartment, and then the neighbor supposedly heard her say, "What are you doing here?" But then she wasn't killed at the apartment. She was killed actually under the overpass. So I wonder if, I'm just throwing out hypotheticals, just doing a little bit of speculating, but I don't know. But if I was going to say maybe somebody kidnapped her from the apartment and took her out there, but you would think that somebody would have seen, would have seen somebody, throw her in a car and take off with her. So, sorry, I lost my place in the oh, there it is. Okay. Avery says she got out of the car, so it was someone she knew. Well, or she could have got out of the car, because I said the car was stuck in the mud. Yeah, Miss Barb also said maybe an ex. Avery said sounds personal to me. Hello, Jody. Hello, Miss Jody. Oh, I have my camera on. Sorry. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Yes, there's the Facebook, the link to the Facebook group. Okay. So Echo says they leave tomorrow to go on their vacation. And he says, also, I think me, and past the legal age to have TikTok. Blame it on your brother. He's the one that kept, get TikTok. I'm like, no, TikTok is brain rot crap. But I have TikTok, yes, and I am probably past the legal age to have TikTok. I don't spend a whole lot of time on it. I think I may have gotten on there 2 or 3 times since I made an account. Yes, absolutely. Miss Barb says, have a great time talking to Echoes and Mrs. Echoes, and stay safe. Absolutely. All right. Is Chris still here? I haven't seen him. Because I'm going to do a video. Let me see if I can find, shoot, it's on my phone. I can't remember the name. Chris, if you're still here, what was the name you sent me? A name of a homicide victim, Margaret Pythian or something like that. I was going to maybe go over that real quick. If not, I've been researching it, and I will shoot. There we go. We'll do a video on it. I don't know if Chris is still here or not. All right, guys, I think that is all I have, unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about. Been about 2.5 hours. That's not bad. It's good to see everybody here tonight. So coming up this week is going to be, so of course, tomorrow night is 4th of July. So I'll be doing whatever. I don't know. But maybe if we don't do anything, is I still, like I said, depending on how hot it is and how bad the skeeters are here, I may not spend a lot of time outside watching the kiddies doing the fireworks. So if I'm home early enough, I may, or maybe do a later live stream, just a fun one, maybe. I don't know. If anybody would be interested, just let me know. Let's see. Taylor says Molly Miller and Colt H. Okay, let me get my handy dandy notebook. Molly Miller. So these are cases, right? Just make sure I'm not misunderstanding. Okay. So thank you, Miss Farr. Says thank you, Southern Gas. Stay safe, live and light all. Absolutely. So Monday we will have Missing Person Monday live stream unless something unforeseen happens. And I believe we're doing Idaho because we did Hawaii last week. I think we're doing Idaho. I think I've already got picked the cases out. I just got to get the slideshow and all the information together. And then, unless something changes, Wednesday I will be going out of state on a little road trip out west for the rest of the week. So I don't know if between now and when me and my brother leave Wednesday, if I'll have time to get any videos recorded. I will do my best, but if not, we'll be back to our normal routine next Monday with Missing Person Monday. Yes, I do kids cases. I do any cases. Logan Tucker. Taylor's giving me bunches of stuff here. Let me write that down. So if I don't write it down, I will definitely forget. Okay, got that one written down. So yeah, so I'm gonna do a little road trip, going out west to pick up my youngest nephew's been out visiting some family, and he's ready to come home. So me and my baby brother are gonna go out, drive out there and pick him up and bring him home. I haven't been out west. I mean, I've flown out to Las Vegas a couple of times, but as far as like traveling and driving through there and seeing all the beautiful scenery, I've not got to do that. So I'm looking forward to it. So that's what I will be doing starting Wednesday till about Saturday or Sunday. Yep. Thank you. Avery says happy 4th, everyone. Thank you. Miss Barb says good night, everyone. Have a happy 4th of July. Stay safe. Absolutely. You as well. Thank you, Miss Jody. You are most welcome. Thank you. Taylor says she has a list. Yes. Yep. Send them. Yeah, you can send them, messenger me, or put them in the Facebook. If you're in my Facebook group, absolutely. You can send them in Facebook Messenger. Absolutely. All right, guys. So, trying to multitask. Thank you, everybody who is here, everybody in chat, members, subscribers, everybody. If you're watching on replay, thank you, replay crew. We love you. Everybody have a safe 4th of July. Have a good weekend. We will see you Monday live again for Missing Person Monday. And as always, to kind of lighten the mood a little bit after, hold on, more comments coming in. Oh, Mr. C says, if you need tips on sleeping in parking lots while driving, I'm your source. We might be getting in touch with you. Depends on if we can find a motel. Because we're going to Arizona. So we're going to leave My brother said early Wednesday, drive part way, spend the night, and then drive the rest of the way and get there Thursday. And then depending on how tired he is of driving, if he's not too tired, we'll turn around and then start back Friday, drive part way, spend the night somewhere, drive, and then be home Saturday, or take Friday to rest up, start home Saturday, drive part way, spend the night somewhere, and then be home Sunday. So there's no telling where we'll end up sleeping. We may be sleeping in the car. Who knows? Oh, but thank you. Yes, I definitely know. I have your email address, and I think I have your phone number, so I'll definitely be in touch. Thank you, Miss Barb. Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Taylor. Thank you, Miss Jody. So, as I was saying, after all the heavy, I know these cases are hard to listen to, but they're important to get the awareness out there, to try to get some resolution, some closure for some of these families. Just do our part to get awareness out. Maybe the right person, maybe somebody will see it and do the right thing, have some information, and but anyway, so I'm gonna leave you as usual on a little lighter note with some fur baby, my two fur babies, Sartiger and Little Biscuit. So once again, everybody have a good weekend, and I'll see you Monday. I love you guys, and I will see you later.